Hello there! Espero que todos estejam aproveitando a Jedicon 2023 no Rio de Janeiro. Hoje nós temos a honra de homenagear um convidado muito especial, que ainda nos anos 90, quando o universo Star Wars era tudo mato e os fãs acreditavam que a saga se resumiria apenas à trilogia clássica, um homem trouxe a fagulha de esperança para nós. Ele trouxe ao mundo uma série de livros que deu continuidade às aventuras dos nossos heróis tão queridos. Hoje eu tenho a honra e o privilégio de conversar com o aclamado autor internacional Timothy Zahn.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm so sorry I was not able to come in person, but I have another convention set up already for this weekend. And once I've made a commitment, I need to hold to that. But I would love to be back to Brazil sometime. I miss you all very much. The two times my wife and I were there were great events. We enjoyed the people, the country, and thank you so much for at least having me back in video form.
So let's start going back a few years in the past. How did you begin your career as a science fiction writer? Is there a story behind your entry to the genre?
Yes, back in 1975, I watched a very bad TV show. And when it was over, I said to myself, I could write a better story than that. So over the next couple of weeks in my spare time, I sat down and wrote a story, which was not very good at all, but it was fun. I discovered writing was a lot of fun to do. And so for the next couple of years, I did this as a hobby, occasionally sending stories to various magazines. And then in 1978, I sold my first story to Analog Science Fiction magazine. A few months later, I sold my second story, and through various circumstances, decided to leave the physics department at the University of Illinois and start writing full time. That was in January of 1980, and so far this seems to be working out okay.
So that was okay at the point that you, in 1984, you got your first Hugo Award for Cascade Point, right?
Yes, that was the first award I think I'd ever gotten for writing. I'd been nominated one other time for a Hugo, but hadn't won. So that was a great honor. Since then, I've picked up a few other awards, but that was the first one.
So today, 2023, you're getting your first Carrie Fisher Fan Award from the Brazilian fans. So it's very thrilling, very exciting for us to have you as our guest of honor in this ceremony.
I'm very honored to be receiving this award, very humbled. Carrie Fisher was always a major part of Star Wars. I count myself very fortunate that I could take the character she created and use her in various of my books. She was always a delight to write. She was always just a delight everywhere she went. And again, I'm very humbled that you've chosen me to receive this first award in her name.
So you probably know it already, but you are kind of a big star at Brazilian fans. Since you're coming here in 2015, the next Jedicon in 2017, our main stage was called the Timothy Zahn stage. So I don't know if you know that.
I did not know that. I'm very honored. Thank you.
So many readers know you primarily for your work at Star Wars universe, such as the Thrawn trilogy and many others. What was it like to write for such an iconic franchise, and how did it impact your career?
Well, clearly it allowed me to do such wonderful things as visit Brazil. Yes, it was a major quantum leap in my career, leading to all sorts of wonderful things. Star Wars has always been very important in my life ever since that first scene with the Star Destroyer going overhead in A New Hope. And I've been a Star Wars fan from that moment on. It was a great honor, privilege to write in that universe, to create characters, to write the characters interacting with Han, Luke, and Leia, and all the others. It was something I never expected in my career, and I have valued that, and I value very much the readers who have made that possible, the people who have enjoyed the characters and the books. Without all of you, none of this would have happened. So, obrigado to all of you.
Thank you so much for your words. I believe in behalf of all the fans, we are truly honored by your words as well. You mentioned Thrawn and all the characters. Thrawn, in particular, is such a beloved character for all Star Wars fans. What inspired you to create such a complex, such a captivating character?
I wanted to write a villain in the original Thrawn trilogy who was not just a copy of Darth Vader or Emperor Palpatine. Those characters would control people through manipulation or fear. I decided I wanted a character who could inspire loyalty, because that's the kind of leader the troops will fight for whether he's watching them or not, because they trust him and they believe in him. So I worked out what kind of character inspires loyalty. Tactical genius, so that they know they will likely win the battle they're put into. Cares about the troops to not waste them. If it looks like I'm losing, pull them all out and we'll pick another time and place. Various things like that. And then finally, since the Emperor didn't seem to have any non-humans in his upper ranks, make him a non-human, a Chiss. Because if he gets to be a Grand Admiral, he must be extra special. And that's where Thrawn came from.
Wow, great. Great. And I love the way he uses art as a triumph, as a material for studying all the culture and all the strategies. And it's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's such a great idea. So when you're here in 2015, when we talk about your plans or any invitations to the new canonical Star Wars universe, you told us that you felt like a lady in a ball waiting to be invited to dance.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
So the following year, if I'm not wrong, 2016, your most iconic character, Thrawn, was canonized in the animated series Rebels. So what was this process like? Have you really not been asked to dance by then, or it was something you couldn't tell us at the time?
I learned that Dave Filoni was going to put Thrawn into Rebels Season 3 in November of 2015. So I did not know anything until that point. So, yes, and then I could not say anything until the release of that trailer in London in, I think it was July of 2016. So yes, I did not know until 8 months before the announcement, and I couldn't say anything after that, even when I did know.
And how was your feeling about knowing that when you knew? And how involved you were in the process of bringing Grand Admiral Thrawn to Rebels?
I was not involved in the Rebel stories at all. Dave Filoni and his team had done most of that writing already by the time they told me. What I did get was since I was then asked to write the backstory of that character, the book Thrawn, they would send me the scripts for episodes where Thrawn was prominent. And so I could look at those and, since my book was a prequel, adapt and set up foreshadowing and such into there. For example, there is a scene in Rebels where Thrawn is practicing stick fighting against combat droids. And so I could put into the book where he does some stick fighting, and also why physical exercise is good for the mental capabilities as well. So I could set up scenes like that in the book, knowing that they would be shown in the show. So I did not have any input, but they gave me a lot of information about what was going to be happening, so I could write the books and connect everything up.
So it's good to know that the process goes both ways. Well, now Grand Admiral Thrawn has finally been brought to the saga's live-action universe.
Yes.
You must be thrilled about it.
Very much.
Did you actually actively participate in this process? Did you write any material to the script or any notes to support Dave Filoni's direction?
No, not so far. They have Dave and Jon Favreau have talked about getting some input from me, but with the writer's strike and the actor's strike, a lot of the timeline has been changed. And they know I'm here. We've had some talks. I've known some things in advance that were going to be on the show. But so far, I've not had any actual input into the stories or the writing or Thrawn's character. But I'm hoping to have some of that in the coming months. But I'm pleased with what they've done with him. I very much like that they brought Lars Mikkelsen in to be the actor. He already had the voice perfect. And so far, they've done a good job of writing for him.
So I want to know now, how do you feel seeing your child reaching higher heights?
It's exciting, a little bit, makes me a little bit nervous. It's like seeing your child getting on the bus and going to school for the first day, and you're not going to be in charge of that child for entirely for the rest of his life. At the same time, Dave Filoni has shown in Rebels that he understands Thrawn, and understanding is the first step to writing correctly for him, writing him as I envisioned him and as the fans envision him. So I think we will do well. I think Filoni understands, and Filoni respects the character and will do right by him in the writing of future episodes and in his saga, along with Ahsoka and all the others.
We also believe that Dave Filoni is doing such a great work with Star Wars, especially the bringing elements from the expanded universe, the Legends universe, bring it to the canon. Him and Jon Favreau is doing such a great job. So that's why they are having their names as the stages this year. So this year's stages are called Dave Filoni stage and Jon Favreau stage, as we are in Dave Filoni's right now. Besides Thrawn, you have created so many other memorable characters. What is the process for character development, and how do you make them so unique, so remarkable among so many other characters as the Star Wars universe have?
In Star Wars, you have very iconic characters, Han, Luke, and Leia, and all the others, Wedge, Mon Mothma, Admiral Ackbar. What you need to do when you're writing new characters is make them all feel like they fit into the Star Wars universe, but they're not copies. It's not like, oh, that's another copy of Leia. That's another copy of Han. You make them unique. You make their characteristics, their character, how they interact with people, all different. Mara Jade, for example, she's a strong female character, but she was once an Imperial agent. That makes her different than anybody else we've seen in Star Wars. Talon Card is a smuggler like Han, but he's also an information broker. He also has a large organization, so he's not like Han. But he feels like he would fit in that universe with Han, Luke, and Leia. So whenever you create characters for any story, that's your goal, is to make them all feel different from each other and how they relate to the other characters and the situations around them different from all the others.
So Palian also appeared in live action in the Andor series. Any notes on that?
I liked he did not have much role to play, not very many lines, but I liked what they did with him. I liked the look they gave him. The actor is fine. I'm looking forward to having his interactions with Thrawn at some future date when Pelion rejoins him aboard the Chimera. So they've set up Thrawn and Pelion very well. Again, I can only expect them to do great things with the two of them in future episodes.
Great. But the question every single fan must be doing now is there any hope for Mara Jade?
There is always hope. I mean, the movie says a new hope. So I don't know. Every so often I ask if I can write a book, a canon book with Mara in it, and I keep being told no. So I don't know if they have any plans for her, if they just don't want her in the saga at this point. But things change. Always in motion is the future, as Yoda said. At the moment, I don't know of any plans to bring Mara into canon. But as I often say, they don't tell me much of anything. So one never knows. But at the moment, as far as I know, there are no plans. Hopefully that will change, because I agree. She's very much a fan favorite, and I think they would do well to bring her back into the story. But that's up to Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy and all the other people in charge. But it doesn't hurt to, request it.
Exactly. Well, is it a theory of mine and some other fans, of course, that all the pieces are moving at the chessboard, lining up to some adaptation of your first Star Wars novel, Heir to the Empire, maybe on the big screen, directed by Filoni? Things are getting into place. Do you also think that way they're gonna probably change a few elements to adapt to the new canon universe? But do you feel this alignment as well?
I do note that Dave Filoni is bringing all these pieces together, not just in Ahsoka and The Mandalorian, but also the end of the Bad Batch introduced Mount Tantus, where there is a cloning facility. I don't know what Dave is planning or thinking. Obviously, because Han, Luke, and Leia, the actors, are either gone or too old for the roles, you would have to adapt the story to Ahsoka and the Rebels group and other people. But the story itself, Thrawn coming back, recreating the Katana fleet, attempting to regain power for the Empire, all of that could be done with new characters. So that may be what Filoni is planning. Again, they don't tell me anything, but I know fans would be very excited to see some of this come back to either the big screen or the small screen. I also note that many people have noted Sebastian Stan, who was Bucky in the Avengers movies, is the spitting image of of Mark Hamill at that age. So you could even bring Luke in if he really wanted to do that. But again, I don't know anything. This is all just speculation. But I would certainly be on board if that's the direction Filoni is going.
Great, great. Oh, they did a very good job bringing Luke back in the Mandalorian series and Book of Boba Fett.
Yes, yes, yes. So that is also possible.
As I told you before, you are a big star here in Brazil, and I'm truly believe that in America you must be even a bigger hit. So, how do you interact with your fans, and how do you handle their expectations and their opinion about your works? Because Star Wars fans are hard to chill.
I enjoy meeting the fans. One of the great my great pleasures at conventions is meeting someone who read my books as a teenager or young adult, and now they're introducing their children to the books, watching the books span generations, and hopefully help a little bonding between parents and children. That's just very, very exciting and very gratifying. Star Wars fans, I don't think I've met any rude or nasty ones. The Star Wars fans were always very polite, very enthusiastic, very friendly. Now, granted, there are people who don't like my books, and they don't come around to say anything to me. So, I only get the fans who like them anyway. But yes, it is always enjoyable to meet the fans, to spend time with them, shake hands, sign a book. I'm getting older, so I may have to cut back on conventions a bit, but I want to continue doing that as long as I can.
Finally, you mentioned before that you are hoping to be part of something big in the future. So what can fans expect from you in the upcoming years? We know there is a upcoming comic book adaptation you might talk about a little bit. And is there any other new project, something really new, brand new, or any book or any series or movie materials that you're working on and you like to share with us, and you could share with us?
Yes. Yes, there's the Star Wars comic. It's a limited series with adapting the book Thrawn Alliances, the book that is split between Thrawn and Vader adventure and 17 years earlier, Thrawn, Anakin, and Padme. So we are adapting that. I'm doing adapting the book to the script, and Jody Houser, who did the adaptation of the book Thrawn, is doing all of the mechanical paging and paneling, tweaking whatever I need, whatever needs tweaking of what I've written. So that is going up. We've just had our first set of comments from Lucasfilm on issue 1. I will be cleaning up all of that later today and sending that in, and then it's on to issue 2. Book series, again, I don't have any Star Wars books that are set up at the moment. We're still waiting to pitch to Stories to Story Group, and we're having trouble getting my editor, Story Group, and me together in the same time frame. We can all do that. Non-Star Wars, the Icarus Hunt has 6 sequels. The first one, Icarus Plot, came out in the U.S. last year. The next one comes out in December, the Icarus Twin, and then coming out. I don't know if you're going to get translations in Brazil. I would hope so, but I haven't heard anything about that. And the Manticore Ascendant books I'm doing with David Weber. We have 2 more of those planned. So at the moment, I've got enough work to keep me busy. I'm also bringing out a book I did many years ago, a modern-day thriller that is going to be republished next year. I will be putting a notice of that on my Facebook page as we get closer. So I've got several projects in mind. I probably have 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 books that I am ready to write, or that are in the queue waiting to be written, along with the comic, along with a couple of short stories. So I still hope to get more Star Wars books in the hopefully near future. But that is even if that was happening right now, I probably couldn't talk about it. But keep an eye on the future. The future should be interesting.
Great, and you look like you have your hands full, really full.
Yes.
But yeah, we all expect to see your name. We wish we can see your name anytime soon, also in the screens, in the series credits or in the movie credits as well. So let's hope.
I would love to see that as well. Yes.
Amazing. So the Carrie Fisher Fan Award was created to acknowledge people who makes Star Wars what it means, what it is to all the fans. It's a way to retribute the love that you as a creator, you as an author, has given us in those 30 years or something that you are involved with the Star Wars saga. So, on behalf of all the Star Wars Brazilian fans, I award you now with the first Carrie Fisher Fan Recognition Award, and it's on its way to you as we speak.
Obrigado. Thank you so very much. I am honored, and I really hope to get back to Brazil soon, because your nation, your people are just wonderful. The fans are marvelous, and I am humbled by your interest. I am humbled by this award. Again, thank you very much. Obrigado.